And what's up, guys? This is Alex from New Age Customs here with a video that possibly will help you guys. Today I'm not going to do anything when it comes to like vinyl wrapping. Of course I will show you later on, but I wanted to make this video because I genuinely was scrolling down a lot of things when it comes to TikTok, some shorts on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and I thought to myself that I had to do this video because a lot of people are very bad informed when it comes to vehicle vinyl wrap. So I've made a list and there's 10 bullet points that I want to share with you guys to avoid all this miseducation and bad information that would benefit you guys in the long run. So with that being said, let's start. Bullet point number 1: bad preparation. When it comes to vehicle vinyl wraps, you need to make sure that the cord that you're going to wrap, first of all, before you even get to the wrapping part, you need to make sure that it's very well prepared. So with that being said, you got to make sure that that has no contaminants on the paint. You got to make sure that the paint is in actually good condition, that no paint coating has, or clear coating is coming out of the car, that it's actually good to wrap. Now with that being said, also you got to make sure that you clay bar it. You got to do the proper procedures when it comes to cleaning it after the clay bars, after the wash. You got to make sure that you're using the proper substances such as alcohol. Me personally, I like to use 71% isopropyl alcohol, but that depends on everyone. Some installers like to use 90%. Some installers like to use denatured alcohol. Personally, denatured alcohol sometimes damages the clear coat. Not all the times. That's why I use the isopropyl. But again, it depends on anyone else, on everyone else, right? So very mindful on preparing the car before you even get to wrap. Now, with that being said, let's just say you did the preparation good. The second mistake brings me to bullet point number 2: using cheap brands of material. Now, I get it. A lot of the times we want to make sure that we're going to practice and we're on a budget, right? So that doesn't mean you have to compromise or sacrifice quality. You have to stick with brands that are actually user-friendly so they don't discourage you. A lot of the times that I've seen a lot of beginners get discouraged is because they use cheap brands. They have a very high tack, initial tack. They have very low pulling capabilities, and they're pretty much not the best, right? So that discourages a lot of beginners. So stick to brands such as Avery, 3M, KPMF, brands that are like top of the line. Now, if you're on a budget, I recommend you using Cheetah Wrap. It's not as good as 3M, but it's not bad at all. Cheetah Wrap is a good brand to start, user friendly, within a budget, has all the capabilities, or most of the capabilities that the top tier brands have, right? Please do not use Vivid Vinyl. No, even if you're on a budget, do not use Vivid. Do not use Paradox Vinyl. Do not use Tiny Bot. Do not use Vinyl Frog or any other Temu brand or Amazon brand. Now, you might say, hey Alex, I've seen these brands on Amazon that have 3M. There's different series of 3M. The best quality of 3M is going to be the 2080 series, just so you guys know. Not just because it has a 3M logo means that it's 3M quality for wrapping a car with color change, right? You got to understand that, all these brands have series. Like 3M has a 2080 series, Avery has a SW900 series, and so on, right? You got to make sure that all these series match with what you want to do. Some of them are 3M and they have no air release. Just keep that in mind, guys. So number 3, bad tools. The same as using bad material, bad brands, it's also bad tools. You're gonna use the initial kit, that Fushu or Foshu, whatever this brand is, that's bad, right? You gotta make sure that you use top of the line tools such as 3M squeegees, Geek Wraps, also really good squeegee to have. Obviously, they're a little bit over the budget. I find it a little bit over too little expensive, right? $20 for one squeegee. But if you're in a budget, use 3M gold squeegees. It costs about $5 on Amazon. I'll put the links and I'll put everything that you guys um, might want to buy. And again, these no one is sponsoring. Just so you guys know, I'm under no obligation of promoting these tools. I'm just letting you guys know what I use, right? So 3M squeegees, gold squeegees. On top of that, I use a banana buffer, which I'll put to as well. Now, when it comes to blades, for a knife, I use an Alpha knife, and for blades, I use NT blades. So those are top of the line tools for me. Now, a lot of the times, again, people use different set of knives, different set of blades. That's on them. I'm just letting you guys know what works for me. Tuck-in tools, buying cheap brand tools. And I would do a breakdown of what I use on my tool belt on the next video, so that way you guys can understand what a professional vinyl wrap installer pretty much carries under the belt, right? We have a tool pouch, so you guys understand, break down each individual tool, what they do and everything, right? So with that being said, it goes to bullet point number 4, and that is torch versus heat gun. If you're a beginner installer, I recommend you not to use a torch at all. Period. Use a heat gun until you get used to how to manage heat, until you get used to the right temperatures, until you get to a point where like you're actually confident that you're not going to burn through the vinyl. So remember, if you're a beginner, always use a heat gun. Now, the difference between torch and heat gun is one gives you instant heat, the other one gives you steady heat. More, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you use torch, just make sure that's going to be a quick. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, right? But with the heat gun, you get steady heat. You get more. You get to use it in a way where you're not gonna damage the vinyl. Obviously, everything with heat, it's gonna burn through the vinyl. But if you use it accordingly and you know the right way, you're not gonna burn through as fast as you would with a torch. That brings me to bullet point number 5. Do not use customers' cars to practice. Please, do not use customers' cars to practice. Now, that's a big no. You want to use at least your car to practice on the first 1 or 2 wraps by yourself. That way you know when you learn your mistakes. Now, it's very important not to use customers' cars for the following reasons. 1, you are prone to cut and paint, no matter what, when you're a beginner installer. And if you cut in a customer's car, you know, it's going to be expensive. You're going to have to pay that for that paint job. You're going to have to paint for that. You know, that little mistake is going to cost you. It could cost you thousands of dollars. I've not seen it, but might cost you a lawsuit. So just don't use customers' cars to practice. With that said, most of the times, when using customers' cars, you run the risk of breaking parts, breaking certain things that might cost you as well. So that's why I'm telling you, do not use customers' cars at all. Now, bullet point number 6. A lot of the times beginner installers have very, very, very high expectations. What do I mean by this? If I can count the amount of times beginner installers have told me, hey, I think that I'm gonna wrap Lamborghinis the minute I get out of this course, Ferraris. That's a very, very high expectation. So don't have high expectations as a beginner installer. What I recommend you to do is go to your local wrap shop. Find a wrap shop near you that will be willing to hire you as an intern. Of course, I get it. No one wants to work for free, but at the same time, if you really, really want to make this career, you have to be willing to make certain compromises. So find yourself a local shop that's willing to take you as an intern, that would teach you. Learn from the lead installer. The lead installer is there for a reason. He's going to teach you everything that he knows that was taught to him the right way. So find a local wrap shop, learn from the lead installer. And on top of that, make sure that you're taking everything that they're teaching you so you can actually hone it into certain skills where you're going to benefit from, right? So not have high expectations. Start from a certain point in life, pretty much. Just like everything, right? So Bullet point number 7, and this just pretty much almost is gonna kind of summarize everything. Not having the proper education, right? Um, what I mean is you just wanting to do it. There's nothing wrong with, you know, starting a business or trying to do something on your own. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that when you do that and you kind of mess up or you don't know what you're doing, you damage the industry. How do I damage the industry? You might be asking this. Well, I've had several customers that have had to pretty much do a 360 when it comes to them wrapping their cars because they had a bad experience prior to my shop or my business or myself as an installer, right? So that's how you actually damage the industry, by not having the proper education when it comes to cutting the cars, when it comes to damaging the clear coat, whatever substance, leaving a lot of debris and everything that, it's bad in general. I would recommend you to take certain courses, such as, some shops offer like 3-day courses. You got to be very, very mindful. In my case, we do offer a 3-day course, right? But we'll tell you right away, hey, this 3-day course is only going to teach you how to wrap hoods, roofs, and do chrome deletes. Now, the reason why I say this is because I can almost guarantee that you would learn how to do a roof and a hood wrap within 3 days better than telling you, I'm going to teach you how to wrap a full car in 3 days and you're going to be a pro. No, that's not going to happen. Realistically speaking, it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft, and there's a book on that, right? So, be mindful of those two. Also, number 8, be very, very aware of who do you listen to, who do you pay attention to, who do you pretty much watch and learn from. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that tell you, hey, you gotta do this and this and this. Hey, listen, I'm no one to tell you. I'm just another guy, right? But you also gotta be mindful when it comes to who do you pay attention. There's a lot of TikTokers. This is exactly the reason why I'm doing this video, because of these TikTokers, because of these YouTubers, because of these influencers, wannabe rappers that are actually not paying attention. I literally saw a guy do a quarter panel, waste the whole material, and cut more material out of the roll to do individually the 2 doors. And not only that, it's insane. Me seeing that, I can already tell that the installer has little to no experience. I posted a video before this one where I teach you exactly how to do a quarter panel. With that same piece, we could do both doors and we could do the side skirt at the same time. Again, majority of cars you can do this. Maybe there's a little percentage where you can't do it, but it's very, very minimal. Most of them, you can actually cut the whole quarter panel piece. You can get the doors and the side skirt in the same piece. Again, this is exactly why I'm doing this video. Now, when it comes to all this summarized, right? Bullet point number 9, pricing. This comes into where you damage the industry even more. A lot of the times, beginner installers take or want to focus on quantity over quality, right? So, how do I put this? I've seen many, countless installers that would charge very, very low just to get the job and undercut a lot of companies, undercut a lot of good installer companies, right? A lot of installers just to get the job. There's nothing wrong with trying to get the job, making a buck. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to be very, very clear. The problem becomes where it's going to damage you in the long run. Absolutely, right? In the future, you might want to have a shop. You might want to have employers or employees, right? Obviously, you're going to have an overhead. So what happens where you have to bring in more jobs than, and it's just like you just have to bring more and more and more and more, right? Other than focusing on quality, where instead of doing 10 jobs for a certain price, you can do 5 jobs for the same amount of price, right? So you focus more on quality than quantity. That's a big mistake that I've seen a lot of beginner installers do. So therefore, please be mindful of pricing. Not only that, it affects other wrap shops. And this just goes again to damage the industry. I saw this guy that does it for cheap. Okay, no problem. Does he have the same warehouse, or does he have the same installations, amenities, whatever it is, right? No, well, okay, there you go. They go do it with the cheaper guy, and then guess what happens? That same customer comes back to the more experienced guy, hey, and they get charged double. And then, at the end of the day, I've seen it where like, okay, well, I just rather not do it and keep it ugly and not do it at all, right? So be very, very mindful. Focus on quality over quantity. Remember, guys, this is these 10 bullet points that I just said to you guys and mentioned and expressed out are pretty much because I want this industry to succeed, right? So with that being said, brings me to my last bullet point. Please don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at newage.customs, and on our YouTube channel, which is this one, New Age Customs CQC, right? Remember, guys, wraps don't fail, installers do, and you can't cheat fundamentals. So with this being said, to the next one.